saying how realistic is it for you to go for all 4 trophies, David? He clearly feels he's got the squad to do it.
As realistic as it is every year when whoever's flying at that moment in time, they get asked the question and they say, well, we're competing for all 4.
You say the manager is driven by this, isn't he?
It's not. He's driven about winning. He doesn't prioritise so much. To him, there's a competition that we're playing on Wednesday night that he wants to win. And then he'll concentrate on the next game, So it's not a case of... I think it's tough. I think history's shown you that it's tough to win all 4 competitions that you're in, But you just compete in them all because you've got no guarantee to win any one of them. So you go to win them all and see where you are at the end of the season in every one.
What was he like after that West Brom game? You mentioned he was disappointed and you were surprised, that you said to do before.
It's not that it surprised me so much, but I think last year when we went down to West Brom, we juggled it round, we shifted, we moved things around because of the amount of games that we had. We wanted to freshen things up, and we did so, and no disrespect to the young kids that came in, but we had a few injuries at the time. We weren't going into that game at West Brom with the same quality that we would go into this game tomorrow night with. So I think that with the team that we put out, going to West Brom, there was always a risk, a bigger risk if you like, because the quality wasn't there. In abundance as such. And for me, when we got beat, it was, we were risking getting beat, really. We weren't going into the game on paper saying, look, we are better than West Bromwich Albion, we're going to get through this game. We could have done, don't get me wrong. But it was just that he was disappointed. He felt that we should have won that game, and we could have won that game. And there was an anger in him and a disappointment in him that... Did it surprise me? Probably, yeah, it did a little bit because I think, our aim last year was to make sure that we qualify for the Champions League and win something. And I think, had we progressed in that competition, maybe it might have not materialised like that. But that's just him, There's no doubt about it. He just wants to win every single game that he's involved in.
I suppose the key difference is that, David, you've got a great international replacement for every player in the team. You've got 2 for every position.
The squad's deeper in terms of quality. There's no doubt about it. We do have. If we've got a clean bill of health, then we go into. I mean, we're leaving people in the stand that should play, and that's as hard a decision as putting the 11 players on the pitch at times. Who goes in the stand? I mean, we've got Stefan Savic and Adam Johnson in the stand at the weekend. So as long as we've got a clean bill of health, we know that whatever game we go out into, then we're going to be putting a competitive 11 out.
Do you have a clean bill of health, David?
Sorry?
Do you have a clean bill of health apart from Owen?
Apart from Owen, yeah.
How's it been for Owen though, David, in terms of after that Birmingham game, we were all talking about him, thousands of words a copy, and the expectation that he was back. I know you said he's not going to be part of it tomorrow, but did that almost raise expectations too much, that game?
No, I don't think. There's no worry about it. There's no. He's got a little niggle, but it's not. Yeah. It's a niggle that, because it's Owen Hargreaves, we're talking about it. Yeah, but it's nothing different than anything else. Listen, he's there or thereabouts, Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, he hasn't trained for 3 or 4 days, and to go in and do one light training session tomorrow and then go into it, you wouldn't do it with any player. It's got nothing to do with whether it's Owen or not.
Where is the niggle?
It's just a little kick in his calf. It's just 1 point. But we've had it scanned. There's nothing. There's no pull or anything.
But he would have been penciled in. But this is an obvious game for him, was it?
Listen, since we came back from the international break, Owen Hargreaves is one of those 24 players, 24, 25 players. He becomes available for selection for the team. If we send, he could well have been in the squad for the derby, could well have gone in the stand, and we'd have been talking about the same breath as Stefan Savic and Adam Johnson going in the stand, or he could have been on the bench like he was against Aston Villa, or he could play. We don't look at him anymore as a separate case, if you see what I mean. Whereas I think leading into the international break, we were still in his preparation, his pre-season preparation almost. We're over that. He comes into the equation like any other player comes into it now.
Is there a hope for him that each time?
Stereo, yeah.
But each time he seems to be
so close to coming back and actually breaking through again, he keeps breaking down. Is that
Well, no, breaking down is not the right word. He's been on the training pitch and what have you. It's a little niggle that's nothing. It's not breaking down. It's not breaking down. If it was breaking down, we'd be talking about him being out for 3-4 weeks or something like that. It's not the case.
It's just that there always seems to be something that holds him back, whether it's a small niggle, a kind of serious niggle, whatever that might be. It's always him almost, you know.
I mean, we knew what we were doing in the summer. We've done it. He's been fine. If you look at what he came in September the 1st. We now towards the end of October, 7 weeks. He's been off the training pitch. 5 days. I'll go and get you the stats from the medical team, but he won't be the one that's been off the pitch more than anybody else. There'll be other people in there. I mean, you look, James Milner was off the pitch with his ribs. Nigel de Jong was off the pitch. But so, rather than talk about what's happened in that last 3 years of his thing, there's something stopping him. He's now a Manchester City player, and I think we should just look at it from when he's been at Manchester City.
Is he a hope for Saturday?
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, I mean, he'd be back out onto a training pitch, I would think, tomorrow, doing some things. Saturday might come a little bit too early, just in case of what he's done. But
you mentioned Adam and the fact that he's not, you know, in the stands sometimes. Is that almost a harder management job for you and Roberto than say Mario? I mean, you know, he's obviously got his own ambitions, but you've obviously managed to.
I think it's harder. I think that what you've got is a group of players, a squad of players, and we've said before, you know, we don't have a team that we say is a Champions League team. We don't have a team that says that's the Premier League team or that's the Carling Cup team. And so there's a group of players, all of whom need to understand that, and I think they do understand in general, you know, that what we're competing for this year, they will all play their part. Any player that misses a game is going to be disappointed, especially if he finishes up not even involved in the substitutes bench. And you know, it's only right and proper that Adam's disappointed. But you know, he'll be back in a team tomorrow, and he has to go and play to progress the club through to and help progress the club through to the next round. I don't think it becomes a harder management decision. I think it just becomes one of those things that happens for any manager in any football club, that he needs to make sure that, you know, that everybody's, when they do go out, they perform. You know.
Can I just ask you just one more to do with Manchester City at all, but just writing about Ericsson, Sven tomorrow. I mean, you must be surprised that, or are you surprised that a great manager like Ericsson?
Not a great deal in football that will surprise you anymore, is there? You know, I to be honest with you, you know, at the end of the day, I wouldn't get involved in that. I think Sven wouldn't either. You know, he'll go out with dignity, like he always has gone out with dignity. I think, you know. If you actually look at that championship, you know, I've got a couple of mates that are in it as well. That are involved in management and coaching in there, and 2 or 3 wins, and they sat there in the playoffs on the bounce. 2 or 3 losses, and they're in the relegation area. But that championship's been like that all the time. But I don't have my money unless the football club, and I don't make those decisions. You know, if they've wanted to make that decision, then that's down to them, and he'll accept it and he'll move on, and he will have, I would think, within the next 48 hours, many requests to go and manage, because everybody, you can't take away what he's done in his CV. You know.